Hello everyone. Have you ever felt like you left somewhere, only to feel an odd urge to turn back and look? What if that feeling is actually proof that something has been watching you? What if the place you thought you left never actually let you go? Subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and like the video to dive deeper into the story. Let's get started. Asterisk. In the summer of 2017, my 3 friends and I decided to go camping in the mountainous region of Colorado. We wanted to escape the city life and immerse ourselves in nature. I, Ethan, my girlfriend Olivia, lit a fire, ate by the lake, and had a great time. But on the second night, a series of unexplainable events began. Around midnight, we heard whispering sounds coming from deep within the forest. At first, we thought it was just the wind, but soon we realized the sounds were coming in regular intervals. And worse, they weren't coming from just one direction. They surrounded our campsite. Mark asked, "Are we sure we're alone here?" Our phones had no signal, so we couldn't call anyone. We could only stare at each other and wait. At one point, Daniel claimed he saw something moving among the shadows, but Olivia and I didn't see anything. Maybe it was just fatigue and darkness playing tricks on him. Were they really alone in the forest? Subscribe to the channel, like the video, and let's dive deeper into the story. That night, none of us slept. When the morning came, we discovered something disturbing. A few meters away from our campsite, we found a strange figure made of sticks and bones. It looked as if someone, or something, had been watching us all night. Mark kicked it over, scattering the pieces, but the uneasiness in our hearts didn't fade. We decided to be more cautious for the rest of our trip. But on the third night, things got much worse. As Olivia entered her tent, she let out a scream. We rushed to her side and found a note on the ground, written in her own handwriting. "If you don't leave, one of you will stay with us." But Olivia swore she hadn't written it. Even more unsettling, none of us had left the campsite, which meant no one could have placed that note inside her tent. That night felt endless. Even in daylight, our fear remained. We packed our tents in a hurry, threw our gear into the car, and left as fast as we could. But the story didn't end there. When we got home, Olivia opened her bag and found an identical version of the strange figure we had found at the campsite. In that moment, we froze. We had left the forest, but had the forest really let us go? None of us ever went camping again. But sometimes, late at night, we still hear those whispers in our dreams. Months later, Mark and I met at a cafe. We had tried to forget what happened, but an unshakable unease lingered within us. As we talked, Mark suddenly stopped and pulled out his phone. He had taken a picture the morning after the last night of our trip. We stared at it closely, and felt a cold wave of terror wash over us. In the background of the photo, standing in the shadows of the forest behind our tents, were several figures. We didn't remember seeing them that morning. We had thought we were alone that night. Hadn't we? What's worse, one day, Olivia's strange figure disappeared. We didn't take it seriously, until one night, she called us in a panic, claiming she heard whispers inside her room. She said she could hear someone breathing on the phone. When we arrived at her house, we found her bedroom window open. Sitting on the windowsill was a small clay figure, shaped as if its hands were gripping the frame. After that, each of us moved to different cities. But every year, as the anniversary of our camping trip approaches, an unsettling feeling creeps into our hearts. In our dreams, we still see the silhouettes in the dark forest. The forest never forgot us. And maybe, one day, it will call us back. 2 years passed. Everyone had moved on with their lives, but that camping trip still haunted our memories. One day, we received an unexpected message from Daniel. "We need to go back to the forest." At first, we thought it was a joke, but then we read the rest of the message. They are watching me. I don't know what to do. A chill ran down our spines. We immediately tried calling Daniel, but his phone was off. The next day, we learned that Daniel had gone missing. When the police arrived at his house, they found the door open and his belongings scattered everywhere. There was only one thing left behind, written in charcoal on his bedroom wall. "If you don't return, I will take one of you." Now, we knew the truth. The forest had never let us go. It wanted one of us back. And maybe it wanted more. In the summer of 2023, my 5 friends and I decided to escape city life and head to an abandoned campsite in Wyoming. Ethan, my girlfriend Olivia, my best friend Mark, his cousin Daniel, and our old friend Claire had found a mysterious campsite deep in the mountains, far from the town. Everyone was excited to relax and enjoy nature. However, little did we know, this trip would never leave us in peace. The first day was perfect. We built our fire and swam in the lake. After having dinner, the sky completely darkened. Spending the night in the heart of the forest felt like a whole different experience. Then Mark said, "This place feels strange," as he stared deep into the forest. "Can't you feel it? Like something's watching us." We all laughed it off at first. But soon, we noticed some movement around the area where we'd set up camp. When Olivia asked, "Did you hear that?" we all fell silent and focused. There was a crackling sound, but each one felt different. It sounded like something was moving from tree to tree, like someone, or something, was watching us. Daniel immediately took action, saying, "We should check this out," and started walking into the depths of the forest. The rest of us followed him. The forest was dark, and the trees grew so closely together that even with flashlights, we had trouble seeing ahead. A few minutes later, Daniel stopped with a sound. This, did you see this?" When we turned around, we saw something moving. But it wasn't an animal or a person. A long, strange silhouette was vanishing into the shadows. We all froze for a moment. Claire whispered, "Come on, this can't be real, right?" But her voice was shaky. "We should head back slowly," said Olivia, but we were already walking backward, cautiously. Then, from deep within the forest, a scream echoed. It was definitely the scream of a person. We began to walk faster, but with every step, the scream got closer. Claire screamed, "They're following us." Panic hit, but we didn't know what to do. We all started running. In the dark, the only sounds were the screams and the continued breaking of branches. But none of us knew just how dangerous this moment was. By the time we reached our tents, the strange sounds from the forest were still echoing around us. Our fear grew stronger with every passing minute. We hurriedly began packing our things, thinking about leaving, but something was outside. A figure was standing there, watching us. A wave of fear passed through all of us. By morning, everything seemed eerily silent. As the sun rose, we all began preparing to leave the campsite. But while we were packing up, we noticed something strange. There were fresh footprints around our tents. But these footprints were huge and not from a human. It seemed like something massive and otherworldly had been slowly circling around us. Something was missing. Everyone had left something behind, but at the same time, we just wanted to get out of the forest. We rushed to gather our belongings, but no matter how fast we moved, the darkness still hung over us. As we walked toward the car, Daniel suddenly fell to the ground, unable to make a sound. His eyes were vacant, but in the dark, it felt like something had pushed him there. We jumped into the car and sped away from the forest, but strangely, it felt like something was still following us. Olivia, for a brief moment, looked out the window and saw a silhouette moving faintly in the distance, deep in the forest. That same figure seemed to be following the same path as us. We prayed we would never remember that night again. All that remained was the terrifying memory. And years later, one night, we decided to go back to the forest. But with every step, we felt like our footsteps were being followed. The forest, in some way, was still after us. In the fall of 2018, 4 of my friends and I decided to go on a camping trip deep into the forest, away from the city. This wasn't going to be just any ordinary camping trip. We all needed some time to ourselves, away from technology, to reconnect with nature and discover something within. I, Jacob, my best friend Alex, his sister Mia, and my girlfriend Sophia chose an old, abandoned campsite. The area, once lively, had been forgotten and slowly overtaken by nature. On the first day, everything was perfect. We set up our tents, built a fire, and spent the evening stargazing. The next day, we decided to explore the surrounding forest. But we soon realized something felt off. The air was denser, and the sky was overcast with dark clouds. The trees were thicker than usual, and it felt like they were closing in around us. We felt observed, though nothing was moving. On the second night, everything began to change. After dinner, Sophia suddenly looked disturbed. "Doesn't it feel like someone's here with us?" she asked. We laughed it off at first, but I couldn't shake the strange feeling creeping over me. As night fell, we heard a faint, distant hum coming from the forest. Everyone grew quiet and listened. Initially, we thought it was just the wind, but the sounds began to get more rhythmic. Something, or someone, was moving around us. Alex said, "This is weird. Let's go check it out." Despite the growing unease, we followed him out of the tents. The darkness was thick, and the trees were so close together that we could barely see ahead of us, even with our flashlights. After a few minutes, Mia froze. Did you see that? In front of us, a dark silhouette was moving quickly between the trees. It wasn't an animal or a person. It was too long, too thin. For a moment, we all stood frozen. This can't be real," Sophia whispered, her voice trembling. But we all felt it, the unmistakable sense of being watched. We decided to head back to camp, but as we did, the sound of what seemed like someone running through the forest behind us grew louder. We panicked and started running. The forest was alive with strange noises, branches snapping, the ground shifting. But none of us knew just how dangerous things were about to get. When we finally returned to the campsite, we were still hearing strange sounds from the woods. Our fear continued to grow. As we hurriedly packed our tents to leave, we noticed something odd. Fresh footprints around our tents. But they weren't human. They were large, circular marks, like something walking on all fours, slowly circling us. We were about to leave when Sophia screamed. We turned around to see a small, stone-like figure sitting on the edge of our car window. It looked like something had placed it there deliberately. We all froze, hearts racing. The figure seemed to smile in the photo Sophia had taken, as if it had been watching us the entire time. We quickly got into the car and drove off, hoping to leave the strange experience behind. But on the way home, we felt like something was still following us. Sophia swore she saw the same silhouette in the distance, moving with us as we drove. We tried to forget that night, but the memories would never fade. And years later, when we returned to the forest, we couldn't shake the feeling that it was still watching us. The forest had followed us home, and perhaps it was still waiting.